Good morning, planet Earth. Thank you very much for tuning in today to the QC Cube Space Station. My name is Eric Staubus, and I am the QC Cube Space Coach. Welcome to video number 7. In today's video, we are using the information presented in the first 6 videos to offer a solution to the existential problem that confronts humanity right now on the planet Earth. I'd like to begin with my little digress on the discovery that I made 40 some odd years ago, 1979, a winter, New York City. And there was this moment, okay? And I saw that we were not being taught the truth. Not only because I guess nobody knew the truth, but now we do know the truth. Science has come full circle, okay? It is science that has proven atomic structure. And inside atomic structure, there is the constant motion of particles. Well, I mean, a scientist would have to admit, and any person with common sense would have to admit, that if something is always moving, it's because energy is always being expended on it. Come on. I like to use it looks like my glasses aren't moving. They're sitting right there. Yeah, I can push them with my arm. However, that's in that frame of reference. Look at this. Look out your window on the shuttle, the space shuttle, and you'll see, you're not going to see those glasses for long because they're moving that way. We never stop moving, okay? In Isaiah, I think it's 34:31, he said, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for they shall all know me. That's our destiny. That's the destiny that as we fulfill it, we stop global warming. Okay, that's my little morning digression. Now, back to the task here. I'd like to begin by asking this question. What is the real cause of global warming? I'm asking because whatever else it is indeed something we are experiencing in the physical world, which means, from the metaphysical perspective, it is an effect, right? Cause, action, effect. And, as we have seen, the universe works in threes. Cause, action, effect. Okay. So, how do we change the effect? Well, it seems pretty obvious that if we want to experience a different effect, we have to start by changing the cause. The effect doesn't change itself. The cause. Change the cause, change the effect. If we have to start by changing the cause. To change the cause, the first thing we have to do is identify it. Once we know what the cause is, we can devise a plan. And maybe we have everything we need to execute the plan. Or maybe we need additional resources. Let's check it out. The greenhouse effect is the process that makes the Earth a comfortable place to live. We need the greenhouse effect. It's what keeps us alive. Photons of light carry heat into our atmosphere, and a mix of gases like carbon dioxide and ozone and water vapor, to name a few. These gases trap the heat and keep it from escaping back out into space. None of the other planets in our solar system have this precise amount of give and take, which allows for the precious gift of life to be maintained. None of them have it yet. But we're going to change that. But that's another video, okay? But we have it here on our blessed Mother Earth. And we are going to sustain the gift of life by figuring out how we should change the way we behave so that we reduce the amount of heat that is trapped in our atmosphere. If all we have to do is burn less fossil fuel, then that is what we will do to solve the problem. But that ain't all. But there may be more to it than just that. For instance, what about the fact that the current standard model of science that's taught everywhere can only account for about 30% of the energy that is being used to expand our universe? We mentioned dark energy in video number 4. How it is the term modern cosmology uses to identify a mere 70% of the energy that is powering our universe. But the fact is they do not know what it is or where it comes from. 70%. The smaller part they know. So the question that begs to be asked is this: how is dark energy related to global warming? 70%. It must be related somehow because it makes up 70% of the energy that is powering this universe. Okay, heat is a form of energy. It's cold at night until the sun comes up over the horizon and sheds its warming rays of light, feeding the plants with life and photosynthesis, so that we have food to eat. We need the greenhouse effect to stay alive, but we need to burn less fossil fuel to reduce the CO2 in the atmosphere. That makes perfect sense. But that is not all we need. I mean, obviously, we also need to know what dark energy is and how it can help us to moderate our thinking and our behavior. Cosmology does not know what it is because it is not just another concept in physics. It is energy that is spiritual in origin. Only spiritual thinking can understand it. Material science will be able to measure it like it measures everything else. But this is not just a material universe. We are spiritual beings alive in a spiritual universe. We need to understand that to stop global warming. Okay? Now, everybody loves what science can accomplish. I do. I love it. I love the precision of scientific thinking. The fact that we can prove something to be true or false. And that is precisely what we propose to do with the science of space version of the Michelson-Morley experiment. Albert A. Michelson and Edward W. Morley performed a wonderfully precise series of experiments which proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that the velocity of light is not affected as it passes through what they thought was the ether wind. Now, the only mistake they made was in jumping to the conclusion that this proved that there was no ether wind. But it didn't. All it did was prove that the ether does not affect light as it passes through it. That's so much simpler, okay? Under the auspices of the Science of Space Institute, we have renamed this something which cannot be directly perceived, which fills the universe with energy and intelligence, which we also cannot directly perceive, and we call it the fabric of space. We call it the fabric of space, and we have done hundreds of experiments which prove it exists. Hundreds. We have every reason to believe that it is the force which will help us to stop global warming. And we humbly ask for the full participation of the scientific community for at least 2 reasons. First of all, the goal of science has always been to find and reveal the truth about who we are and what this world is that we all live in. If the emptiness of space is the way we humans perceive the source of all truth, then the many great minds that dedicated their lives to the pursuit of this truth deserve to be part of the group that finally claims the victory. And the second reason has to do with the strength of science. It may well be that there is already too much CO2 in the atmosphere. Indeed, we know the ice sheets are melting, and the rate at which they are melting is accelerating. To turn that process around, we need all hands on deck. You know what that means. Now, as much as I love science, I love spirit even more, because we know from science that energy moves matter, and spirit is the one source of all energy. It moves everything it contains, and it contains everything. It is also contained within everything. But I don't believe there is a scientific argument that can bring us to that level of realization. It seems to be a gift from spirit that we can get if we make ourselves available to receive it. So in closing, I'm going to offer an argument that you can disagree with, but which you cannot disprove, namely this. For as long as we have been on this planet, we have been evolving. Our history seems to be depicted by a series of dark ages, followed by ages of relative enlightenment. The big one is yet to be. It is upon us right now. You know, I remember when we used to pray in school. Well, we don't do that anymore. Somebody outthought that process. And guess what? The planet is warming. I'm telling you, this is more than just a coincidence. We are all the children of one creative source. It took a while for the conclusion of the Michelson-Morley experiment to almost completely extinguish the fire of truth that burns inside the human soul. But the fabric of space does exist. It is infinitely intelligent. And we are using the scientific method to prove that this is true. And we are using the scientific method to prove that God exists. I bet you there's a lot of scientists that don't like that idea, but unfortunately it's true. We're using the scientific method to prove that God exists. So with the same laws of reciprocation that cause global warming, we will avert climate change. Thanks to God. Hey, God invented everything, which means He invented science too. Thank you very much for tuning in to the videos. Number 7 is done, and I hope you have a great day. I got to finish this website and get out there and help us change the way we think so that we can stop global warming. Thank you very much. God bless you. Have a good day.